Hi, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to be working on the lovely Julia, and we're going to be doing a arm and neck, and I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. So I'm going to go ahead and sometimes I will start with dry work, but I'm going to go ahead and go in with my oil straight away. So if my clients face up, especially if this is the first time I'm working on them, I don't want to be leaning too far over them because it can feel a little disconcerting. But I'm just gonna start applying this oil so that it's a little bit easier for me, but I'm not gonna lean too far over. Whenever you're working on the arms, you just need to be aware that they're not really stable. So they're going to move in whatever direction you're moving. So you definitely want to anchor this arm down when you're applying the oil, or else that shoulder is going to be jammed up by the ear, which never feels very good. And another option is if you want to just use really light pressure, you can do that too. Even then, you can see the shoulder move a little bit. And massage is all about getting the right angle and slack on the muscle that you're working on. So I just angle that arm a little bit. Be able to work on that bicep a little bit. And just using the heel of my hand, making sure that her arm is stable. I'm just keeping my right arm on Julia's forearm to anchor everything. I'm going to start working my thumb into that shoulder joint a little bit, and I might even get into that deltoid a little bit. And you can work your way into the triceps a little bit, but this is kind of a weird angle. It's really good for the deltoid though. And if you wanted to, you could go all the way into the upper trap a little bit. But when you're doing this, just make sure that you're not hunching over, which I was definitely doing a second ago. I'm just not doing anything fancy, just following the line of the muscle and going back and forth between these different muscles. And I'm just going to open up her arm a little bit, coming in from a different angle. And opening up these shoulders a little bit as I work. Doing a little bit of petrissage here. Just scooping up that muscle fiber. Really good for circulation. That's not usually a technique that I end an area with. It just feels kind of choppy. I really like to end with some effleurage. Nice long strokes. And usually if I'm running short on time, I'll work on these extensor muscles, just that front side of the forearm. And this is a really nice position because there's kind of a neutral amount of slack in these muscles. And Julia's arm is really stable because it's laying on the table. You can definitely use your thumb here if you want, but I find that this is just so effective. I'll usually, even when I'm starting to find some trigger points, usually just use the heel of my hand. Because if I'm doing a 60 or 90 minute massage, there's other places that I can save my thumbs for. You are going to need to kind of find a different angle if you want to work on the flexors in a deeper kind of way. So just creating a little more tautness in these muscles by bringing the fingers back. Hopefully I have enough oil here. I think I do. Doing dry work when you don't intend to never feels very good. So I think I have enough oil left on my hand. And so yeah, these muscles are nice and taut. This might feel a little too much, and if that's the case, you can always just work with a fist, creating a little more slack. And just be careful that you're not, I know Julia has sensitive wrists, so just be careful that you're not pressing down too much. It can kind of hurt the wrist a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with these extensors. So these muscles are nice and taut with that position of the hand. And this is really a great technique if you're having trouble really pinpointing these muscles where you're working. Creating more tautness is always really helpful, especially when you're wanting to go deeper. And I know I said I wasn't going to use my thumb, but it just feels right. I'm just working both of these muscle groups. Just making nice. And I'm going to end this side with some hand work. I'm just running my thumbs along that palm. If you're working on someone that has issues with their wrist, working on the palm and forearm can be really helpful. You can do alternating thumbs. This nice meaty part in between the thumb and the forearm is really good for relieving tension in those extensor muscles. It's also good for stress and headaches. And I'm going to start just doing some compressions, working my way into these fingers. I'm not trying to pop anything, I'm just really applying a good bit of pressure. So I'm not really pulling much as I'm pressing in. I'm not trying to do just one fluid movement. I'm really focusing on just keeping a nice consistent pressure without pulling too much. And don't be afraid to stretch this wrist a little bit. You need to be somewhat firm but gentle at the same time. So there were definitely a lot of different steps that I took on that side, so I'm not too concerned about doing the exact same routine on this side, but I'm gonna stay pretty close. Just making sure I have a little more oil where I need it in the future. I have a nice angle here already with the bicep. And if you want to get kind of a nicer angle for the tricep, you can either ask your client to move their head to the right a little bit, or you can even just move it forward a little bit. Working pretty superficially along this deltoid, but just can feel really nice in combination with everything else. You can even work your way into that rotator cuff a little bit if you wanted to by lifting the arm. I'm just kind of always catching myself needing to widen my stance a little bit more. And even here, I'm just stabilizing Julia's arm, making sure that it's not flopping around. I'm just doing a little bit of petrissage in here, a little bit of kneading. And sometimes if you're working on a new client, like any type of movement that you do in a massage can be a little uncomfortable in movement. So sometimes I find like if you just communicate like in those moments, it can really help. Or even just ask them like, a simple question like, so are you on a work break? Or it just kind of helps people to feel a little more comfortable. But small talk is definitely not what people are usually looking for, so just keep it really simple. I've definitely had a few massages where the therapist didn't say one word, and I think those are the massages that can feel a little uncomfortable. As therapists, we're definitely encouraged to let our client lead, but sometimes it's good to just do what you can to make your client feel comfortable. And again, because Julia does have sensitive wrists, I'm just careful not to press too hard on her hand, creating that tautness that I want. And the body is in constant process. You're not trying to fix anything. You're just really helping everything to work more harmoniously. This is also a really nice place to stretch the wrist a little bit. Walking thumbs along the palm usually feels really nice. And don't forget the heel of the hand. There's usually some good kinks to be worked out in there. It's really all about reading your client. So if you know you're working with someone who doesn't like to talk at all, just a gentle encouragement of, can you please relax your arm, But there's a lot more to being a massage therapist than just the body work. It's really about like reading people and accommodating each person while having boundaries. That's really important too. Sometimes when I'm doing stuff with my left hand, I can feel like I don't flow as better because I'm right side dominant. If that's you, don't worry too much about it. And just be careful of not pulling too hard on the fingers. Just a gentle stretch for that wrist. And I'm going to go ahead and start with some neck work. If I'm working on someone for the first time, they're complaining of neck pain, when they lay on the table and I see like rounded shoulders, I usually like to start with the arms because it helps work in the neck flow better usually. Just including these deltoids always feels nice. And this is just a nice way to transition into neck work. And I have worked on Julia before, so I have a pretty good idea of, certain habits that she might have. So a little bit more tightness on that left side. And if I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the occipitals, I usually work both sides at the same time. So this is great because Julia's head is nice and supported, and these muscles are fairly relaxed. And get right in there. I'm just doing little circles with the pads of my fingers. And just paying attention from right to left. See how things feel different. And I like to include the mastoid process when I can. I'm just doing little circles. Behind the ears. If I'm noticing a good bit of tension along the occipital ridge, I might even bring that massage up around the ears. Kind of helps the jaw to relax. And if I were working on someone who had like more severe whiplash, I would usually start any work on the SEM with just like more indirect stuff like this. Kind of help calm everything down. And so I've spent a good bit of time here. I might start to just hold and do some deeper compressions. I'm at a really good angle where I can move my fingers in towards me without exerting a whole ton of effort. This is a great technique too if you're wanting to conserve your thumb energy. Nice broad strokes here. You can even move further down into that upper trap and kind of lift up. Just really encouraging your client to let their head relax. And it can feel really nice if you work a little extra slow here. This is also a good technique if you're new to doing neck massage with your client face up. Just throughout the session, I like to encourage my client to relax their shoulders. And if I feel like if we're doing deep tissue and I feel like they need a little break, I might even do just a few strokes along the arm just to kind of give them a little break. All about reading your client. And I'm going to end with just some broader strokes into the SEM and the upper trap. And you can even do the scalenes and the SEM at the same time just by opening up your hand a little bit more. This is a great time saver if you're short on time. Not great if your client wants like super detailed work. Stuff feels really nice. And always making sure that my client's head is supported, that she feels nice and secure, doesn't really have to think about anything. And if you want to even broaden the stroke more, you can bring this all the way down into the deltoid. Nice broad strokes. When you're doing these broader strokes, it's a great reminder to use your whole body, not just your arm. And I'm going to lift up into this upper trap, really giving her a chance to just let go a little bit more in her upper back. Making sure my fingernails are the right length to do this, of course. And this is just a great reminder to the neck to just let go, because the upper traps are inactive right now. So just a great position to really encourage everything to relax. And just ending with a little bit of scalp, focusing mostly on this area around the ears, and spending a little bit more time on the mastoid process, just encouraging that SEM to let go, relax. And before I forget, I just want to thank a few of our patrons. I'd like to thank Jeff, Mark Claxton, and Michelle Brady. Thank you all so much for your support. Really appreciate you guys. And that is all for today, guys. Thank you for joining us today, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, you should check out our Patreon channel. There's some really great content on there that's exclusive to Patreon. I look forward to seeing you there.
If you enjoy these videos, please join us at PsycheTruthPatrons.com for dozens of exclusive videos and premium programs. We have over 1,000 videos you won't find on YouTube, such as modeling and fashion hauls, exclusive massage videos, ASMR, behind the scenes, bloopers, and much more. It's a great way to help us keep the cameras rolling so we can continue making the content you love. Patrons will get 2 to 3 new exclusive videos each week, so I hope you'll consider joining our Patreon family today. Just visit PsycheTruthPatrons.com.